Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Let's start with, does anybody have any questions? Or had any issues? I know Kelly, you sent me a message saying that you'd done some posts. Can everybody send me in the Skype chat the blog post link that you've been working on to make these to make the co-schedule posts? And then we'll just go through a couple of them.
Do you want me to send it again?
I didn't get the link from you. Did you send me a link?
Yeah, I did.
No. I do not see that. Oh, I see. In the group chat. Okay.
Mhm.
Let me open that up. Okay, well. Okay. My one recommendation here is to try to fit on as few lines as possible. So you see that pandemic is kind of on its own line there. So I'd recommend trying to fit that on its own line if possible.
Okay.
And then is that the only post you made?
Yeah, because I wasn't sure if we were actually publishing it, but
Yeah.
that's what I have so far. Yeah.
We should just start publishing. We
Okay.
can always delete posts later if we
Mhm.
feel the need to. But so let's that should not be posted. Okay, so today I'm just gonna kind of blow through a couple, other ways of doing this stuff. Did everybody have a chance to jump into ahrefs and try doing the stuff that I showed you in the video?
Yeah, so I started doing it. The linksies that you mentioned to add as an extension of Chrome, for some reason I might have just not known what I was, or link clump, yeah. Might not have known exactly how to add it, but it's not actually attached to my Chrome.
Okay, well, I'm gonna dump the link into the Skype chat, go ahead and click on that. Here are the settings that I use for it. Now you can change the key bindings. I like to just have it on my right click with no plus key on it. If you're on a Mac, you're going to be forced to use a plus key. So that would be something like Shift. So if you held Shift and hit the right click button, it'll draw that box. And then the only other settings you are going to need to customize from the defaults are copy to clipboard, which should be what it's already set to, and then URLs only under copy format.
Is it just the settings wheel? So when I go to the Google Chrome extension, the settings wheel, and then it says my extensions and apps. Is that where I'm supposed to fix the settings?
If once you've installed it, you'll have this bar up here
Okay.
in Chrome. If you don't have that and you see a puzzle piece, let me know. Chrome has made an update recently, but I should have fixed this all for you guys, you know, when I was remoted into your computer and setting things up. So
Okay.
if you're not seeing it, you should check to make sure you're in the right Chrome profile.
Okay. I mean, I can also troubleshoot it later, so
I would
Yeah.
troubleshoot it now because, you know, I'm here on the phone and I can help you guys fix this. So the idea is we should, you know, start getting really good at cranking out lots and lots of posts really quickly. So I'm just going to kind of show you really kind of what I was, you know, going for. So what ahrefs can do, you know, and this is, so I'm going to do that ahrefs step over and over and over again. You know, SEO can help small businesses, right? That is one concept of this blog post that we can create, you know, posts for small businesses impacted by COVID-19. So you can just see I'm selecting different keywords, different sections of the text, and Googling them. From here, you use link clump, you know, to really just scan up content and to see what ranks highly. And this, you know, this is, so this research stage can take time. I'm just going to kind of blow through it quickly for the purposes of just showing you how once you've kind of done the research, how quickly you can make the posts. So I'm probably going to stick with the SEO one, not the small businesses one. So SEO can help small businesses. And then you can even add COVID to the end of that. There's many ways of doing this. This is just really the way that I use the most commonly, is using ahrefs, because Google itself really is the most powerful research tool probably on the planet. The algorithm is very powerful. An alternative to this is in ahrefs. There's lots of ways to do this. You can look at keywords, you can look at Content Explorer. Content Explorer is powerful in its own way, because it can sort things by different metrics. For example, I could sort by Facebook shares down here, which is going to be, you know, useful because really Facebook is going to be where the majority of your SEO results or social media results are going to come from. So now if I Google COVID marketing, I would probably then sort by, we're sorting by Facebook shares, and I want to look at the organic traffic column. And just going down the list here, see if there's anything great, but I'm not seeing a lot of high traffic results. The ones that I are seeing aren't really super related to what I was going for. So I picked marketing just because SEO is kind of a strong term. But I'm not finding anything here either. So I'm just going to go back to Google. Google is in most cases way more powerful. That's why I was trying to teach you this ahrefs and batch analysis, the batch tool, plus the link clump. If I had to say that if there was one skill that I use more than anything else in all of SEO, it's this. So, you know, this is something I do probably 100 times a day. So, this was SEO can help small businesses. And I'm just going to kind of reduce the number of links that I have here. You can see that the traffic on these ones is pretty good. So just going to open a couple of these. I can just grab this, copy, now go back to this post. SEO can help small businesses, and make a new post. So this first part of the post is going to talk about just being a small business is tough. Many businesses fail in the first year. Many more will not make it to the 5-year mark. Goes on to talk about how SEO is important. At this point, I've kind of opened up with why a small business should care. And then I can go into and add a paragraph about COVID. COVID affecting small businesses. So I'm currently working for a bankruptcy attorney. We just did a blog post about how bankruptcies are way up. So pretty sure that's relevant. I'm just going to go to that client right now and grab that. So another thing I would highly recommend doing is starting an Evernote account, or something where you can kind of bookmark and keep track of research while you're out and about, because you're gonna just save what you think is good, and over time you'll be able to use that kind of content in your marketing messages. So I'm gonna go to blog. COVID-19 and shelter-in-place orders have wrecked businesses. Not all businesses. Some businesses are doing well. My carpet cleaner is doing very, very well. House cleaners are doing very well. COVID-19 and the accompanying shelter-in-place orders have wrecked businesses nationwide. Airlines, I don't want to talk about airlines. We don't have any airline clients. And I don't really want to talk about bankruptcies too much. And not shed debt. But you can see that first sentence is still pretty relevant. At this point, I'm just going to switch debt with, how marketing. We're going to have to so COVID affecting small business. Another thing that can be very useful is, it really depends on what direction you want to go. But normally what I like to do is I like to do a couple different keyword searches here. The first one was, how SEO can help small businesses. The second one was how COVID's affecting marketing. But if you find some content that it's called like evergreen content, that's just kind of in the middle. So stats are a good idea here. Infographics is something that I always research in the beginning, because infographics, what they do is they can summarize information in a way that is social media friendly, right? It's very visual. So I'll go SEO, marketing, I'll go marketing infographics. COVID is kind of a new thing, and we may not be able to find an infographic for COVID, but we'll find out. Yeah, so this is, so you'll see again, we'll do a batch href scan. The idea here is that I don't really want to read all 10 articles. I would like to just see which ones have the best traffic, go straight to the point. You can see that this one from a realtor has the best traffic, but this also just might not be really relevant for this post. So And how about, so I know I asked everybody, did you guys find any content that you liked? Any specific social media, um, pages or influencers that you liked?
I found one that it's called Rachel Rome's, not related to me.
How do you spell that? Rachel.
I think Rachel's frozen.
Okay.
For me personally, I watch a lot of beauty influencers, like beauty and fashion.
Can you give me an example?
Let me think. I like Jenn, JENN space IM.
Let me just share control, and then you can type.
Do I have control?
1 second. Go ahead.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm at home visiting my parents right now, and they clearly don't have great Wi-Fi. Apologize.
Wait, I actually don't know how to do this.
Just go ahead and type. You should be able to type.
Really? It's not working.
All right. Well, just spell it out for me.
Yeah, it's just
JENN.
space IM. Yeah. That was her previous name, but yeah. Basically, she started a while ago, and then now she has her own clothing line and everything.
Is she an influencer?
Yeah,
Or
she
does
is.
okay. Good old Forbes. So this isn't that far outside the realm of what we're talking about. This is a good example of how someone has, through YouTube, basically grown a business.
Mhm.
Um,
I've been seeing it a lot nowadays, and I know a lot of businesses are starting to actually incorporate influencer marketing into their business, and I thought that was pretty interesting.
they really don't give much info on here. So let's see, Jen M. So I'll just show you. You can find someone that you like, sort by most popular, and now you can just ahrefs everything on their page, and it'll tell you what the keywords they rank for and how they're doing what they're doing. So this is kind of what I'm trying to show you. Ahrefs in general, it's plus batch analysis will give you a snapshot, give you math to tell you why things are the way they are on the internet. So if I look at all these videos, and keep in mind, something to know about YouTube channels is, yes, this video has 4.5 million views, but that's accumulated over 7 years.
Mhm.
You know, this is 1.7 million views accumulated over 1 year. So even though this is showing up #1 as her most popular video for her channel, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's what's getting her traffic right now. So right now, this is actually the video that's getting her the most traffic. Let's see what it is. How to pose for photos. So, you know, I think what I would want to do if we were going to use something like this is find a website that kind of talks about the social media side of things, not so much the beauty side of things. But, you know, it's still important to just keep coming up with, you know, lists of content that you like. You know, the She is very popular. So I just will need some more time once we get off the call to kind of look into things.
Mhm.
And you know, but easy poses for Instagram. That's probably one of the keywords that this one is responsible for finding. So if you know, just keep digging in. Since it's taking too long, I'm gonna move back to this. But the idea really is to start cranking out a lot of posts, you know, and to use these skills to create something more than just the default. So, you know, I'm just gonna finish doing this real quick. Being a small business is tough. Many businesses fail in the first year. You can just continue kind of doing keyword research. You pick different paragraphs of text, you come up with a post, and then you can just keep using these kinds of skills to find stuff that eventually make, you know, really unique, different. You can literally come up with 100 different posts for one piece of content. And so step #1 is really just to get good at, you know, doing more than copying and pasting from the article. You know, anybody can just copy and paste from the original articles. So spend a little time creating, you know, 5 posts for a blog post, and then move on to another one so that you can kind of test these skills on different pieces of content. But I'm just going to kind of show you, I'm going to try to get through as many of these as I can in a short period of time. So there's a couple things that I'm looking for. I'm looking for content that I like, and then I'm looking for images that I like, and probably images more than anything else. But this is a good article, I can already tell, because each one of these gives me an idea of a type of social media post that I could come up with. Local ranking factors that help your small business SEO. Low budget, you know, finding your niche, all these things. Every single one of these could make for a post in this original article. I start off with that kind of concept. You know, are you using local SEO in your online marketing? COVID-19 has made has made marketing more difficult recently. There, et cetera, et cetera. So you're going to want to have two groups of content. One that talks again about who you're targeting, and who we're targeting in this blog post is small businesses, why they should care. COVID-19. Well, what is COVID-19? You know, how is COVID-19 affecting them? It's making marketing more important. It's also making it more competitive. And really, so infusion of government aid is really not what I was trying to go for. So shelter in place orders have wrecked businesses. I'm just going to, you know, I like that sentence. I'm going to continue there. And I'm going to try to find an example of what I'm talking about. I'm going to move this over into a different window for now. I don't see a lot of traffic here. So I'm probably going to move on to another one, Content Explorer. Open up Canva because I'm going to need to use that in a moment. So I'm going to creative examples of marketing COVID. Positive examples, because I think positive is almost always better. And then going back to yours, look at that. I didn't even have, they've completed it for me. How influencers have transformed modern marketing. Okay, well, that one's got a paywall, so I'll get around that. I like that image. It is a Getty image. I think you have to pay for that. That means. So one way to tell if you can use an image or not is, first, if it says Getty image, that probably means you have to pay for it. I don't remember if Getty's free or not. Oh, it's free. Okay. But if you right click on an image and you go, you can search Google for image. It's going to point it up here. You can very often find other images in here, but if you scroll down, you're going to just see if it's used a ton on a bunch of different websites, it's probably free to use. It'll also give you ideas usually on other types of content that you can look at. So, there's the one that we got it from. But 5 powerful Instagram marketing tips, right? Adapting your content marketing in the age of coronavirus. There's many ways to research content. Ahrefs, what this will do is this just gives you kind of, instead of having to look at every single one of them, you can kind of just cut to the ones that are getting traffic, and traffic is always really what we're trying to get. This is a great article, I can already tell, and I'll be able to make multiple posts from this. So I'm just going to work with this for now. People. Empathy is critical. So, really through two articles, I've been able to make a pretty good social media post, I think, here. Being a small business is tough. Many businesses fail in the first year, and many more will not make it to the 5-year mark. But even established businesses can fail if they're unable to adapt to changing times. I'm just going to COVID-19 and the accompanying shelter in place orders have wrecked businesses nationwide. People feel vulnerable right now. Empathy is critical. Many banks, for example, have moved to waive overdraft fees. recognizing the hardship on their customers. SAP, I guess that's an example. So, just in the effort to kind of move quickly, I'm going to use that image that we already found and put it in there. Then I'm going to go Facebook and Twitter. So I've done one post for this one. Let me jump over to another article that one of you guys have worked on for an example. Let's see. Can someone share another article that they've been working on to make co-schedule posts? Is this yours, Rachel? Let me try.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I properly shared it.
Which one was it? Which article?
I don't remember. Did I need to go into like coschedule.com and then share it, or I did like 4 or 5, but I just kind of scrolled randomly. I didn't write down the name. Like, is there a way to filter ones that I've done?
Well, let's change that in our process. When you're working on an article, go ahead and let's do it from WordPress, because WordPress will then make it very easy for you to navigate to the ones that you've been working on. If you do it from WordPress,
okay.
Just again, go to the blog post. We should be working on just blog posts on the first page. I need to turn this into a draft. That shouldn't be published. Okay. So I'm just going to open these up. It was one of these blog posts on the first page, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
I think it was the digital advertising one.
Okay.
I apologize.
That's good.
Maybe not. No. No, I don't think it was that one. So if I did it through this way, is there a way to filter ones that I've done, or do I need to write them down?
Just, yeah, keep track of them.
Okay.
The idea is, going forward, let's please send them to me either directly in Skype chat or drop them in the social media chat. This is like right now, what I showed you last week, which is really just copying and pasting from the existing article, is really the most basic way of making a social media post. And it's probably where you should start, because you want to share your own content first. But like I just showed you, there's an unlimited source of content on the internet. You could, for any one blog post on any website in the world, make hundreds of social media posts if you wanted to. And that's without even writing any fresh content. But you should be able to just take out chunks, take out keywords, take out chunks of the content, and do additional research and find other ways to, spin ideas off of it. So, let's see this. This is best time to upload to YouTube. just going back to the influencers, I'm going to kind of jump on that one because I think we could use the influencer idea here to probably come up with something for this YouTube article. Yeah, so this doesn't really get into anything good. But once you're done making posts in coschedule, what you do is, if you do it from WordPress here, so you go down here, you make posts in coschedule. Now you take this link and you share it to me in the Skype chat. I'll take a look over them, and we'll say that's good, and I'll give you some recommendations from there. But I would imagine, at a maximum, it take you about an hour to make a social media post. Really, 2 hours if you're going to make a custom image, make a custom video for it. And that's where we're trying to get to. Step number 1 is crank out as many of these as quickly as possible, because all you're really doing is copying and pasting content that exists on our website and images from our website. That from there, you can kind of get more bang for your buck by using Canva to make custom images. But Canva, really, at the end of the day, I'll just go over some things that you can do in Canva. So how influencers use YouTube. So what we're looking here for is an image that we can use in this post for best time to upload to YouTube. So, some of the basic social media posts that you can come up with here is just copying content from the website. We can continue to talk about who would be interested in YouTube, and which our primary, demographic that we're always trying to target is either business owners or web designers. So for business owners, YouTube, the concept, which I hope I made clear, is YouTube is, if there was one strategy for a website and for SEO in general, YouTube is the best strategy. And the reason goes back to the fact that Google owns it. So any points that you get to it get translated to your website freely. And then there's just the level of competition. 80% of businesses overall use YouTube, but less than 9% of small businesses are using YouTube. What that tells you is that big business knows how powerful and how valuable video is for your online marketing, but small businesses haven't caught on to that fact. But that's a huge advantage. Not, if your competition isn't on there, you're going to get more bang for your buck. That's just a general concept in SEO, and it's really just common sense at the end of the day. If everybody's doing something, then you have to be better than everybody. And if everybody's been doing it longer than you have, you're going to have to play catch up. So that's why YouTube's so powerful, is you're a little bit ahead of the curve on the small business side of things typically. So, we could make a bunch of posts here that are talking about, those kinds of perspectives. Another thing you can do is make custom images for this kind of content. So here we could even just take the same post, make it again, but this time make a custom image for it. So, if I'm going to make a blog post like this, successful YouTubers make growing a channel look easy. Stats about successful YouTubers. Stats can be very easy for images, right? Because you convey a lot of information in a very small amount of space, similar to infographics. Stats you can look at that, stats on, so it's already pulling in my previous search history, right? And that's the algorithm layering that I've been talking to you guys about. Google remembers everything you've done. And, the fact that I was just looking at social media influencers is bringing that up. So this I'm probably just going to save for another article. We have blog posts on social media, so if you want to switch over to one of those, I think Jenna, that's her name, right? How did you spell that again? Just for my own reference later.
JENN space IM.
IM or N?
M.
Okay. So she did have a good YouTube presence. So there's definitely going to be information on that. let's see. So this is stat 20 influencer marketing statistics that will surprise you. Let's see if there's anything on YouTube. So yeah, influencers are definitely going to be more powerful in certain markets, and fashion and beauty is one of those. So this is, I think, very much tied to e-commerce and social media. E-commerce is very competitive. You're competing with Amazon. And because of that, you know, you kind of have to, I think it probably lends itself to a little bit of everything more than just YouTube. YouTube is a very important piece to things, but influencers are, you know, typically known to be, a lot of people consider YouTube to be a social media platform. And in a way it is. It's just not what most people would consider social media. So YouTube is hot on Facebook's heels. Here we go. So here, you know, well, just I have this content sitting right in front of me. Might as well just use it. So, you know, I have a perfect paragraph here. I can lead straight into Gen M. Let's see if it talks about YouTube on here more. Wow, that's pretty incredible. So that's probably a statistic I'm just going to use for an image right there. No. So I'm jumping around a bit. I think what I'll do in this case is maybe just pick an image off here. I'd focus on trying to do one thing well and do it repeatedly. So, you know, make a, start off again, you want to do these things in stage. Start off by making, as you know, a bunch of posts with coschedule. You know, really within the week, I expect at least 10 posts. You know, if they shouldn't take an hour each, if you're just using content from the website, start there. You know, once you've done that, make sure that you send me the links to the pages that you're working on so we can just keep track of what's going on. And as soon as, you know, we see that you're getting a hang on it, I'll be like, that's great. Let's go ahead and make some, you know, Canva images. At which point, you know, hopefully this is a good image. I'm just going to save that right there. So really, I'm trying to talk more about the power of YouTube. Influencers are a good example of how YouTube can be used, but I think we're kind of getting away. There's something for everybody on YouTube. Marketers taking notice by putting more money into. So one thing you're going to have a problem with Canva is when you search for photos on here. If I just go YouTube, they're going to really annoy you with all this pro stuff. So one thing I recommend doing is not only just saving images while you go about your day, because then, you know, the one that I just saved, which is down here in the corner, I can kind of drag up here. And I'm going to pick a better template because I'm not a fan of this one. Just going to pick one that's simple for now. There we go. Uploads. I think I do, you know, I do like what, you know, when you brought up Gen M, influencer marketing is a very important thing, I think, into the future. You know why influencer marketing has gotten powerful? Because businesses neglect their own marketing. And over time, they have to rely on other people who have been doing it, you know, basically nonstop. So that's what influencer marketers are. They're basically full-time marketers who are selling the visibility and the marketing that they've established over time. And beauty and fashion just happens to be one of the more obvious choices, I think, to these kinds of platforms. Anything visual is going to have a natural advantage in the social media sphere. So while Facebook is still the alpha dog, we're talking about the YouTube one right now. Yeah, best time to post on YouTube. Let's get for social media. So I'm just gonna take that out. I'm gonna go back to that stat that I think is very interesting. A lot of these stats are interesting. 60% of consumers have been influenced by social media. If that's true still, that's pretty interesting. Really, this stat I'm going to use for a social media post of ours, but so, you know, if you find some content that's not relevant for this, you can always come back to the website and, you know, open up our social media category. Find 7 ways to structure social media posts. You know, you could go in here and make a co-schedule one using a lot of this information from Gem M and about influencers. YouTube versus Facebook for video marketing. That's a good one. Facebook. Here, you could definitely use this in here. And this post needs images, so this is something I can definitely, if you're gonna make how old is this one? February, that's quite a while ago, but still. You know, part of this is having fun with it. You know, I'd like you guys to, you know, I expected to kind of see 5 to 10 co-schedule posts by now. So for right now, let's just focus on doing that. You know, getting as many up as you can. I'm going to look them over and then we can work on them individually. We can, you know, tweak the text together. We can make custom images for it. You know, after we've gotten those 2 parts down, we're going to continue to learn how to do SEO skills a little bit at a time. For right now, the primary SEO skill I want you guys to know is link clump. So by the end of today, I'd like you to have successfully done link clump. So go ahead and get it installed. If it's not working for you right now, let me know so I can come in and fix it on your computer. But you should be able to, on any website, draw a box around the links and run it through ahrefs and tell which of those links are the ones with the most traffic. It's very important to know how to do this. Otherwise, you're going to have to be opening up every single one and you won't be able to tell which ones are getting traffic, which ones aren't. Even if you like something, if it's getting no traffic, you need to know that, because you should at some point always be defaulting to things with traffic. Traffic is an indicator of success. So knowing where the success is on a search engine is one of the primary skills you're going to need to know really in all of online marketing. So let's just kind of, you know, get back to make next week's homework simple. Make 5 to 10 co-schedule posts, and when you're done making some, please share me the link for the WordPress, you know, the WordPress link right here to me in Skype. And we'll look that over together, and I'll give you some recommendations. Number 2, you know, practice using ahrefs and link clump. That's going to be your primary skill. There's a lot more that you can do from there, but we'll, you know, build on that over time. And then number 3 is, again, I'd like to know whatever, you know, some content that everybody likes on social media. We'll find a way to tie that into our marketing messages. And or we'll break down, you know, why they are successful online. So I'm just going to finish this post real quick. So I want to go back to the Facebook one. So we've made a pretty good post here, and then I'll just follow up with, I want to get the best, you know, add why the best time, what the best time is to upload. right here, you know, I don't even have to make an image because this is a really good one in this article. So delete that one and upload a new one. Okay. Well, we only have about 5 minutes left in the hour. Can anybody go over, or has everybody got to get off at 11?
I have time.
I can
Okay.
go over.
Then let's make sure link clump is working for everybody, because that's something I can easily fix right now in the call. So go ahead and get link clump installed. I shared the link to the extension in the Skype chat. So go ahead and get that installed and let me know if it's not working for you, and then I can remote into your end and fix it.
Yeah, Jeffrey, would it be possible for you to, so it's on my computer, but in terms of kind of the settings that you were showing me, I wasn't quite sure how to access those. Would you be able to just maybe?
Go ahead and share your screen.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna request remote control.
Okay.
So you see your extensions are up here in the right.
Right, yes. Oh, okay.
Okay. Let's make sure you can log into ahrefs. Okay, so batch analysis is under more batch analysis. So batch analysis and site explorer, those are going to be the primary pieces of ahrefs. At least that's the, you know, the first tools that I ever learned and the ones that I use the most. From there, it's just kind of digging into the math more. So does anybody else need me to help them with their link clump?
I got it.
That's good too.
Okay. Well, let's, since people can go over, just give me some more examples of content that you like, because I'd love to start spinning, you know, that kind of stuff into this.
Are you just talking about content in general, kind of like different topics?
Well, just social media that you like, you know, what kind of content would you read without anybody forcing you to read it? Because, you know, SEO and social media and stuff, somehow I doubt that's, you know, the first, what you would read on your off time.
Right. Well, I guess for me, so I'm really into being active and doing that sort of stuff. So I like to kind of follow people that either have fitness blogs or anything like that. I found I actually use, so I'm sure you're probably familiar with the actor like Chris Hemsworth. He played Thor or whatever. And so he has a fitness
Are you talking
program
about
that he
Center?
started. Yeah, do you
Oh
know
my
about Center?
gosh. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm actually a member of that.
Are you really? That's funny. No, because I only did, it was like a 30-day free trial during COVID, right? Because it's like, well, you guys are home, will you try it? And of course, as any person would do, it's like, oh, great, I'll start the trial. And then sometimes you just don't cancel the subscription, you get stuck in it. But yeah, so I started doing that. And I guess my point was like, yeah, so like if you have celebrities especially, they can be really big influencers, right? If they start new projects, new companies, new ideas, people are a lot more likely to follow.
Yeah, that's a good
And
point.
so yeah.
Well, that's one I can easily come up with because I'm, you know, an actual member. So I'll find a way to tie that into next week's meeting. That's kind of hilarious.
That's funny. All right.
Okay, and then Rachel, how about you?
I'll do a different example from the other one I was doing earlier. So I do a lot of like racing, like I'm wearing a Spartan shirt right now. So like obstacle course racing. Another company is called GoRuck, like GORUCK. And what I like about their content is they're always posting or always reposting on Instagram. So they're really engaged with the community. So it's kind of nice to have more than just a company trying to sell you something. And then their big thing is they sell backpacks essentially that can hold weight. So it's like a gym on your back, they call it. So it's very relevant during COVID. So yeah, I do a lot of their races. They're based out of Florida. I just like that they're engaged in everything. They comment on people's stuff a lot. So yeah.
So how Go Rap, is that G-O?
RUCK.
Do you actually put rocks in the backpack to train?
I have like a weight plate essentially. So these backpacks are super like specific and they hold weight really well. Instead of like a computer pocket, it's a weight pocket. So it's like special forces. It was made and founded by a guy who was special forces, and he was like, how can I kind of incorporate this like civilian style? So I guess COVID's helped a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of people not having gyms and trying to find a way to work out. So
Yeah, that's smart.
You know how hard it is just to find weights? Like, I had to go to eBay to get weights.
So expensive.
They're so expensive and so hard to
Yeah.
get. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Cool. Well, I'll look into both these, but yeah. Maybe we should, instead of focusing on the first page of results, which is a lot of YouTube and a lot of COVID stuff, go ahead and I'll find you guys some social media posts. Actually, let me just do that right now.
Okay.
That we can, because those, it seems like will be easier to tie into these ideas. And we can always forward these ideas over to the writers, because we talk about YouTube a lot, but it's kind of like beating a dead horse. We've at least 50% of our content's about YouTube. So the other 50% is about, a lot of it's writing these days, because it helps the writing team. So let's see, social media. This is going to be a good one. The 7 ways to structure social media posts. So I'm going to drop that in the Skype chat. Feel free to make co-schedule posts for that. Social media engagement, very important. I'm going to share with you guys the login to Animoto. So we're going to learn a couple different video programs over time. The primary skill isn't going to be making videos. So I think we'll probably stick with Animoto a lot. But I'll just show you in the next 5 minutes how easy it is to make an Animoto video. Canva, I think, has the issue that, not a lot. It's just, I don't know, Canva's pretty time consuming in of itself. You can almost crank out a video faster with Animoto. So you just go, once you're logged in, hit create. Pick a template. I'll go back to that blog post that we just did.
Can you share your screen?
Oh, call.
Sorry. I was like, I don't know.
I wasn't sure either.
Like,
Yes, that would be helpful, wouldn't it? Where did that influencer article go? Here it is. And now you can, in Animoto, save a bunch of images and just put, select the text and change it. YouTube is hot on Facebook's heels. So this is a lot of text on one slide, so I'm probably just going to go with that.
So are you wanting us to do this in addition to what we were doing before?
No, for right now, I would just focus on, let's get at least 5 co-schedule posts done on 1 or 2 articles, and send me the links for them. And we'll kind of go from there, because the idea is I want you to just get familiar with coschedule, and then I will send you some specific recommendations to the post that you've made. My recommendations are going to start with Canva and maybe finding, and how to find images. So from there, what we'll do next is we'll kind of, you've seen a lot of how you can spend a lot of time researching the internet, right? And so the second thing I'd like you to learn is to practice ahrefs and link clump, because that's going to help you in your research efforts a lot. And a lot of my recommendations are going to come back to that. I'm going to be like, I really like this post that you created, for example, about the influencers. I'll be like, well, this article, because I can do this keyword research very, very quickly, is highly relevant to the post that you made. And then from there, you can spin off another 5 posts. So this is kind of jumping ahead to what I wanted to get. I was hoping to get to something like that this week, which is just evolving past images and evolving past text. So number 1 really is just, the number 1 concept in this is learning coschedule. The number 2 concept is learning how to use ahrefs and link clump so that you can just be better at your Googling and your researching. Number 3 is to get creative with your, with your social media posts. And that's using things like Canva to make custom images, or Animoto to make videos for your blog posts. So one of the things I did jump off of too quickly is that Canva, when you're going to get kind of limited in what you can do in there, it's not very good with the free images. So remember Pablo. Pablo.buffer.com is basically a much more primitive version of Canva. The advantage that Pablo has is that when you search for something like YouTube, it's not going to give you a bunch of recommendations of paid content. If I go back in here in Canva, right, and I go to the media section, and I put in YouTube, it's going to really waste your time with all these pro images that you have to pay for. And we're not trying to pay for things right now. In the future, I actually have libraries of royalty-free stuff, which we'll get to eventually. I just don't want to pile too much on you too quickly. But this is where Pablo is useful, because Pablo, if you search for YouTube here, all these images are free to use. And I'm going to be, again, I kind of earlier in the call showed you how you can find free images. One thing, if you see an image that you like, you right click on it, you search Google for image. When you do that, you should be able to tell pretty quickly whether the image is free to use or pay to use. If you see it a bunch like this, like I've seen it twice now on 2 different websites, it's probably free to use. If you see it on shutterstock.com, you know, and it's got a watermark on it and wants you to pay for it, then it's probably not free to use. So, but that's just, you know, that's the most basic level of search Google for image. That's one way to find images. The way I would going back to Pablo is you're 100% certain those are free to use images. So I would usually start at Pablo first until you've exhausted those images. You'll see we've used a lot of Pablo already in the blog post images. I'll just, you know, I'm opening up too many tabs, but this is a Pablo image, the one in the background. Pretty much every featured image is a Pablo image, or I took it manually, you know, with a screenshot. That's another thing, you know, you should probably learn how to do on your computer. If you are on a page of a website, you can do Alt Screenshot, depending on your keyboard, you know, if you have the screenshot button, and it's going to automatically save whatever you're looking at to your clipboard. Now, if I open up Paint, I can press paste, and you can see there's a picture of my browser. That's another way to make images also, you know, and you can then save this, upload it into Canva, upload it into Pablo, you know, and make some tweaks to it. But, you know, just to recap on everything, the number one thing you should get used to is, and that's the main homework for this week, is make posts in coschedule and send me the WordPress link so I can take a look at them. And then, you know, throughout the week, I'm going to give you small recommendations in between our training sessions, because I want these training sessions to really be used to teach you chunks of content. And you can see that with each, if you guys all pick different posts, which you know, let's hope, you know, I kind of want you guys to do, a lot of the advice that I'll be giving you throughout the week will be, you know, more tailored to your specific situation. And then next week, what I can do is jump straight into showing you guys how to make videos, jump straight into the next level of ahrefs. But, you know, if we're still going backwards to just making co-schedule posts, you know, then we're not going to be able to do that. So right now, the number one thing is do this, send me your link in Skype, and then, you know, ahrefs and link clump, I'll kind of teach you individually how to do that, you know, in my recommendations probably. But that's going to be the number one skill on ahrefs you're going to be using over the long term. I do it 100 times a day. Again, because I don't want to read, if I Google something, I don't want to look at all 10 results. I only want to look at the top 2 or 3. If I don't find what I'm looking for in the top 2 or 3, then I'll start to look at lower traffic results, or I'll change my search. But that's why ahrefs is so powerful. It's like, at the end of the day, do you want to open up every single link? No, you really don't. So then let's just leave it at that. You know, Canva is going to be probably where, you know, when you guys send me your co-schedule posts, that I'll be making recommendations. I'll either be like, that's a great post. I did some keyword research on it, and I found these other articles that you can use to make some other additional co-schedule posts. And here's an article that has a bunch of great images. But Canva is going to be your primary tool for customizing images going into the future. Next week, I'm going to be showing you Animoto. So let's just forget about Animoto for right now. I don't want to pile too much on too quickly. But Animoto is going to allow you to make videos, and you're going to see that. I'm sure you've seen it even in social media. And video really is the most powerful form of content. And a lot of that comes back to your mobile phone. If you read this article on your mobile phone, this is what you're dealing with, right? Not everybody likes to scroll all day. If you have a video on a mobile phone, you just click play. It's much more mobile friendly content, and that's why video is so powerful. Everybody's got a phone on them. Not everybody's sitting at their desktop computer browsing. So, you know, video is going to be an essential part to your social media strategies, and that's what we'll talk about more next week. So for right now, yep, just make some co-schedule posts, send me the link from WordPress so I can take a look at them, and we'll go from there.
Cool. Sounds good.
Oh yeah, and then so I will take a look at those things that you guys recommended, and next week we'll kind of tie that into our next step. You know, finding content that we like and repurposing it for our social media strategies. Because again, a big part of social media, I think, is having fun with it. you know, because if you're not having fun with your social media, it's likely that anybody that's seeing your posting and seeing what you're doing may not be, it's going to translate, you know, through that. So I will definitely come up with some ideas for center and go wrap. Yep. Let's just call it there. And yep, I'll look for your guys' messages on Skype.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right,
You're welcome.
bye.
Have a good rest of your week.
You too. Bye.